you're very correct in this idea that if you don't have the foundations of why, if you don't have the foundations of getting out of lower consciousness states, all of these catalysts don't mean as much. They won't work as well. And that's where I do believe a lot of people get hung up, because at these biohacker conferences, as many conferences, you're going to have a mix of attendees. I go there trying to network and do everything. My why is to, broaden to meet people such as yourself. But a lot of people's why they go there is because they're dealing with something. I remember being in the front row. I believe it was your talk and Zach's, and there was a woman there just asking questions. You could tell it was about her. She had some injury or something. This happened, and she would just tell me more about this. Tell me, and everyone was like, "Afterwards, let's meet," because this is kind of like a patient consult now. And you have a lot of those people, and they go from conference to conference to conference, asking and looking for that one silver bullet, when a lot of times they're not really going within and saying, what is within me that's blocking these wonderful therapies from working? Because then you go, it didn't work, and nothing works because you're not in the state for it to work. Am I right?
100%. You're looking
Yeah.
outside of yourself for an answer or an explanation or treatment or something to fix you.
Yeah.
So you think that you're broken. You've identified with this disease or this state. And so what I commonly hear or see people, they've gone to 20 different doctors. They've done all these extraordinary treatments. They've gone to Europe. They've gone to Mexico. And they've done some things that I think are amazing. They've done the plasmapheresis, and they've done these cleanses. I mean, some amazing things. And why am I still not getting any better? Still waiting for that aha doctor or that aha treatment. And it's never outside of ourselves. And until they say, or they ask themselves, how is this serving me? What about this is still here, or what have I not addressed? That this is here because it is, and I know a lot of people are not going to want to hear this. It's going to make a lot of people cringe and hopefully not, maybe keep watching your podcast. I apologize. You can cut this out.
No, go.
But this disease, this condition, I believe, is there because it's still serving us in some way.
Yeah.
And even if it's pain, we call it painful, we tell everybody we don't want it, and we go, years and all these specialists, and we keep saying that we don't want this, we want to be different. My belief is, part of you may think that that's what you want because that's what is expected, or you think that would be the right way to be, but it's still there because either we haven't wanted to address something, or it's still serving us in some capacity. And most of the time we don't know that. We don't know what that capacity is because we haven't asked the question. And I know I went on a tangent there, but it's, again, looking for things outside of ourselves, and not asking the right question.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And I know that ruffles feathers when you say, what do you mean? I want this disease? I needed this disease? But the truth of the matter is, most people that have struggled with it and come out the other side will look back and say it was a blessing. I needed that transformation. I needed that kick in the butt from this disease that was horrible going through it. That really took years away from me, but also gave me a whole new appreciation. Again, I think disease, you shouldn't even look at disease. You should look at the healing process as very transformative for your highest good. And when you go through a true healing process, and I say this, it's not easy. It's not taking a pill and continuing what you always did. It's not masking. It's not a surgery and continuing the way you were. It's going into the depths of your soul to try and figure out what is needed of me to change to truly heal. And that's never easy. I'm sure you see this a lot. Like, patients come in, they get V-cell, they get ozone, they get all these remarkable things, but they won't address a trauma or a poor relationship with their sibling or something there and say, no, you got me better, doc. I'm great. I feel good. But that's still there.
a
And
year.
then sooner or later they will return because they didn't address the thing. And of course, we're not just body, we're mind, we're spirit, we are relationship, we're all these things. So the fact that so many people, I think they just have to understand healing is going to be a long journey. We are always healing forever, really, in a sense. But especially healing from a chronic disease is not easy, and it's there to teach you a lesson. So it's almost be open to that. Be open to the lesson, whatever it may come.
Yeah. And even though it may not be, it may be something that is viewed as long-term, like not easy. I think that opening up the possibility that it can be easy and it can be simple allows that breath that is not overwhelming, that we don't need to be, doesn't need to be chronic. It's only chronic because we keep holding on to it or we haven't addressed it. Um, it opens the possibility, and things can happen pretty quickly
Oh
if
yeah.
that was the nature of what is the plan for that individual. And it's also just how open or ready or how much wanting that individual is for true transformation. And just like whether it's, somebody could say, oh, it's not just I'm holding on to this trauma or I'm not forgiving this person. That's a big piece of it. But also maybe why am I still staying in the type of environmental exposures that I am? So
Mm,
why, if we want to even just go back to grass stuff that somebody doesn't want to dive into the yes, quote unquote esoteric just because we haven't put it into our normal vernacular yet, and saying, okay, why are you still listening to this? Why are you still eating these kinds of things? Why are you still having this routine? Why are you still going to that job that you hate? Why are you still in this relationship that all you're doing is it brings like resentment in you, but you're holding on to it? So it can be even as simple as I know I shouldn't, I don't like the word should, but this isn't serving me, that this behavior or the kind of content that I'm listening to. Every piece of our environment goes in and influences us. Why am I still saying these things? That if I listen to the words that I'm saying, which are spells, I'm owning that. And my body is going to make that a reality because I'm telling it. Your body doesn't know nuance and it doesn't know sarcasm.
yes.
It knows exactly what you say. And if you look in the mirror and you say, oh my God, look how ugly this is or how awful this is. Maybe I'm projecting here. I don't know. Or I can never find the right person or I can never find the right job. Guess what? Your body's believing that. And so,
Yes.
you take these B cells or you take any of these, but then you go right back into the environment that is causing that stress or causing those exposure to toxins or the molds or all those other little things that we know that are constantly, challenging our body. You're right. Why,
Yeah.
we keep giving ozone, we can keep giving stem cells, which I love them all because they're fantastic. But they're not going to truly enable you to be who you want to be. And healing implies that something's broken. And I like to encourage the idea that we're not broken.
No.
And we don't need to heal unless we are attached to the idea that we aren't already whole. And that's why I need to find a new relationship for myself with the idea of using words like healing, because then I'm implying to somebody
Mm-hmm.
that there's nothing wrong with you. And I would rather imply that there's nothing wrong with you. You just may not be exactly who you want to be yet. So let's
Yeah.
unfeel or let's get you into that environment that allows that to express itself.
Yeah. It's a return to the authentic self, which is a completely healed and always, optimized individual on every level.